Hey everyone, welcome to the Convo Couch. And today we've got the co-founder of Perx, Scott Taylor. Thank you for coming on.
No worries, thanks for having me.
How did you get started with Perx Health?
Yeah, so I started Perx probably 3 years ago, or just over 3 years ago now. I'd been chatting to a good friend of mine about health habits and then specifically, behavior change and how do you help people to form the right habits they do to manage their health. And that could be anything from exercise, diet and fitness kind of stuff, right down to chronic conditions and managing medications or getting back to appointments and those kind of things. The tactics we'd seen work so well in other industries that we'd worked in, whether that was retail, consumer, tech kind of industries where they don't have much problem helping people make habits, but those habits might be not so good or indifferent or fundamentally bad habits to form. And so we try to bring some of that insight into healthcare, because that's neither myself nor my co-founder in the business are healthcare have healthcare backgrounds. We actually have worked in other industries where you form behavior and habits. I studied behavioral science at university, and so from that we've then kind of built the business out to try and bring those habits into healthcare and help people living with chronic conditions stick to their treatment plans. We both had family members who were managing chronic conditions and struggling to stick to their treatment plan. And they were quite simple treatment plans, taking a medication a day or getting back to the doctor every 6 months. And I think most people can relate to that. The struggle of forming the right habits and sticking to those habits that we know. We also, for some reason, assume that once someone has a chronic disease, like diabetes or asthma or a respiratory condition, that all of a sudden that they'll just become perfect and change their behavior to do all the tasks they need to do overnight. And so I think we quickly realized that there was a problem there, and as we dug into it, realized it wasn't just our family members who struggled to stick to their treatment plan, but actually it was a much bigger problem. 50% of people living with chronic conditions don't take their medication as prescribed. 43% of Australians miss an appointment every year. All these other industries that we'd worked in our previous jobs were really effective at getting people to form habits, but that wasn't in healthcare. That was often, in things like, whether it was, using a online platform or engaging with a retailer. Retailers are really good at getting us to put another item in our shopping basket, which might not necessarily be the best habit depending on what that item is. But some of the best behavioral economists and behavioral scientists in the world sit in these big consumer retail tech companies, looking to change behavior in a way that benefits the company that they work for. But we want to try and bring those same tactics to improve the health of people living with chronic conditions. We've had thousands of people using Perx daily to manage their condition. We've also signed some massive partnerships with big companies in the healthcare industry, whether they're insurers or they're pharmaceutical companies or public health organizations. So that's really important for us because it enables us to deliver our solution for free to patients, as well as ensure that we're able to reach the right patients. We've also now, having kind of signed 8 of those big partnerships in Australia, we've just signed our first partnership in the US, and so working with our first US customer, which is really exciting because managing chronic conditions isn't just an Australian problem. It exists globally, and I think the impact we can have in a market like the US, where healthcare is a really challenging industry and a really expensive industry, is really significant. So we're pretty excited about that. So when we first started Perx, we thought the key thing for us was to be able to show real evidence that it works. I mean, it's all well and good us kind of saying, we've seen these tactics work well in other industries, they'll just work in healthcare. But healthcare out of all industries that's not how it works. It's just not, I have an idea, this will work and everyone believes you. It's really important to have an evidence-based approach. We had an initial really basic version of the solution we wanted to deliver in form of a patient app. And we worked with Diabetes New South Wales and ACT to deliver that solution to a small group of diabetes patients. And we just tracked how they performed, using the technology in terms of how many tasks did they complete that they were supposed to complete, how many tasks did they not complete. And through that process, and then starting to kind of build out, some more, partnerships and recruit more patients who are managing different conditions onto the patient version of the app, we started to get some really good insight into how effectively the technology is working. We also got some really good constructive feedback on, what features should we build next, or where should we, what had we assumed that was just wrong in the way that people manage their chronic conditions. Depending on the condition, things like medication adherence can be as low as 40 to 50%. And when people were using our solution Perx, they were seeing 80 to 90%. So having a massive uplift there, and also the level of engagement that we could drive with those users was really high. So people were using the app for 2 hours every month, and so really engaging with the solution in a way that they wanted to. We didn't want to have patients paying for the solution, because we thought, this is a solution to fundamentally help these patients, and if we start charging the money to have to use it, that didn't seem like the right business model. If the problem we're solving is that people don't stick to their treatment plan, obviously the health impact sits with the individual, but where does the economic impact lie? And if we look at where the economic impact lies, we can kind of figure out, okay, well, who would be willing to pay for this solution to be out and offered to as many people as possible. And the kind of big groups that tends to be is the public healthcare system. They're seeing people present in the hospital more and more times. There's something like 230,000 avoidable hospitalizations every year just because people don't take medication properly. And every one of those hospitalizations costs the public healthcare system a lot of money. It also consumes a lot of resources that might be might be better used, or might be able to be used more effectively in treating other patients. Our first customer was New South Wales Health, and working with them to deliver Perx to diabetes and cardiovascular patients out of their outpatient clinics within the hospitals within Sydney. We then, the other parties that have an interest in a solution like ours would be insurance companies. And so, life, health and workers' compensation insurers are all heavily incentivized for the patients that they look after, or the people that they look after, to be as healthy as possible. I think one of the important things that we get right there is things like patient data and privacy and security. Unlike a lot of other health apps where they're looking to monetize data, we don't need to do that to ensure our solution is sustainable. Our selling is actual behavior change impact, not data. And so it's very important to us at Perx that we get all those privacy and data sharing questions right. And the very first version was literally if you took your medications for 2 weeks in a row, at some point, one of those medications would mean you won a $10 movie ticket or $10 movie voucher. Over time, what we've realized is, one, there's a lot more tasks than just medication that people living with a chronic condition need to manage. So things like physiotherapy exercises, things like getting back to your appointments, taking measurements like a blood pressure measurement, or things as simple as just weighing yourself regularly can be really important for chronic disease management. So we've built out those different modules so that we now have 7 or 8 different modules that you can do to manage your condition. But we've also realized that people are motivated in really different ways, and I think that's been some of the really interesting insights. So when you say that about, okay, you win rewards and gift cards for managing your condition, I think a lot of people find that really interesting and really quite exciting. But there's also 15% of our kind of long-term Perx users have won rewards but never claim them. And the way that they're engaging is with a lot of the other features that we've built out. So we have things like a leaderboard, so people striving to be top of the leaderboard, or things like streaks, where every perfect day of managing their treatment plan, they kind of get what we call a Perx heart in the app, and every day you do it perfectly in a row, your kind of the number of hearts increases. And we have users now who are on 100, 200, 300 day streaks of perfectly managing their treatment plan. That's pretty exciting for a company as young as us, that we have users who are have literally just been using it religiously every day to manage their treatment plan. And we'll have amazing things where a user might have $10, $20, $30 of rewards they've accumulated in the app. They forget their password to get into the app, and the first thing they contact support about is, I don't want to lose my streak, can you please reset my password. So I think that's one of the really interesting things that we've learned over time, is that people are motivated in really different ways. And to build a really effective behavior change solution or motivation solution, we need to recognize that, that personalized approach to healthcare and behavior change will be what makes our solution successful.
The rewards function almost sounds like a game design, based on game design principles. Like
Yes,
there's,
yeah.
in game design, they also have this concept of the ludic loop where they constantly go back into the game. So it feels like the Perx hearts are one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our kind of design is inspired by those mobile games. But instead of focusing people on reaching the next level or unlocking a bunch of coins, it's forming habits around their health. A lot of our kind of employees have background from game design, game development, designing competitions or tipping competitions for sports to kind of mobile games as you kind of traditionally think of them. We do see that level of engagement that we get with our app. It's not just really good for a healthcare app, but it's really high for any app. And so we see engagement levels in line with mobile games or social media platforms. It's a really valuable touch point with their healthcare system. So the ability to put education about their condition or education about their medication in front of them at that time, for 2 hours, 3 hours every month. For some people, that can be the longest period they engage with their health throughout the course of a month. Because if you think about it, the most regular touch point is probably a 5-minute chat with a pharmacist when they're picking up their monthly medication. They might have a GP or a doctor's appointment every 3 or 6 months, but usually those are 10, 20-minute appointments. So if we're saying, well, we're actually engaging that person in their healthcare for 2 or 3 hours every month, that can be a really powerful time to put the right content and right resources in front of them.
And this is your first business, is it?
Yes,
Wow. You guys are doing really well for your first business venture.
This cool idea I have, how is that solving a problem for someone? There's a lot of solutions out there without problems, and that won't fundamentally lead to a very efficient business.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this episode in a series where we interview business leaders, tech innovators, and startup founders about their business journey, insights, and reflections. If you find value in this, please leave us a comment below, and also like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Enjoy!